Over the past few weeks here at Survival on Purpose for Sharp Saturday, we've taken a look at some collections of some of my favorite different style knives. Today we're going to get back into the standard knife review format because I just received this really cool knife from the folks at DEMKO Knives, and it's the Armiger 4 clip point. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me for another Sharp Saturday video where it's Saturday. We take a look at something sharp. Like I said, today that something sharp is this really cool DEMKO Knives Armiger 4. And we're gonna get a look at that in just a minute, but starting to rain, I gotta go find a cover for my camera because I think it's about to really come down. So we're gonna be back with that right after this word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Hog Holsters. Hog Holsters are made in the USA in Arizona, and they are without a doubt the most comfortable concealable holster I've ever tested. You can save 10% on your order at Hog Holsters by using the coupon code Survival on Purpose, all one word. That's hogholsters.com. Thanks to Hog Holsters for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so the rain has slowed down a little bit. You can see my notes are very wet, and mosquitoes are enjoying feasting on my blood, but we're gonna endeavor to persevere. So this is the DEMKO Knives Armiger 4 clip point in OD green handle. Just a little bit of background. Andrew DEMKO, the founder of DEMKO Knives, has been making sharp stuff since about 1988. He worked with people like Spyderco in the development of the Triad lock and the Scorpion lock. He's got his own new Shark lock out on DEMKO Knives for some folding knives, but they were kind enough to send me this one so I could test it for you. So we're gonna take a look at this. I think this is a perfect fit for the kind of stuff that, you know, we do on this channel, you and I probably do. So let's get right to the specs of this thing and we'll get to doing some of that knife stuff. First of all, this is a full tang clip point knife. It's also available in a spear point and a Tonto blade. And based on the pictures on their site, the spear point has a double-edged top swage. The swage is sharpened. I think you call that a swage. Whatever you call it, that part right there. This one has a blade length of 4 inches for the cutting edge of powder-coated German 8CR V2 steel, which is a reasonably high-end steel. Again, German steel, very, very well done. This one has a pretty high saber grind, not a hollow grind, very, very strong. I like saber grinds because they're just strong. You look at the back, the grind on this thing is extremely even. A little bitty sharpening choil here, which I really like. And the handle material itself is overmolded thermoplastic rubber, and it has some finger guards on here, which I like. A little bit of a kind of a depression here to you can hold it here for your finger to fit in. Jimping for the thumb, has a sleeved lanyard hole, and it's just a very comfortable handle in my opinion. Again, this one is made in Taiwan. It's the Armiger 4. Let's talk about the sheath. The sheath is pretty special in my opinion. It looks like a pretty much a normal sheath. It's Kydex sheath, but the interior part where the knife goes in, this gray part here is non-glass reinforced Kydex, so it won't dull your blade like glass reinforced nylon or Kydex does. Then the outer frame is glass reinforced for strength. And then it's also, you can disassemble it, take it off for cleaning. I don't know if you can see this, but in the very bottom of the sheath, there's a drain hole to get rid of moisture. And then it fits in pretty well. I mean, you might could throw it out, but you're gonna have a hard time. Has a nice retention strap with a snap up here. And then the belt harness has both a snap and Velcro to keep it in place. And it's, you can remove it and put whatever clip you would like on here. It says on the website this thing is MOLLE compatible. Those look a little wide for me for MOLLE, but I haven't really tried it, to be honest with you. So that's it. The MSRP on this thing is $75, $74.99. So I think if everything is advertised to be, I think that's a decent value. So that being said, let's start with the scientific testing, and I think we can both agree that pretty much the industry standard sharpness test is the redneck sharp test. I like to do that on all knives when they come out of the box. I know every time I find a knife that's not sharp, I get a bunch of comments that, hey man, you got to sharpen a knife. Anybody knows that. But I think it's at least it's a good, kind of a little, I guess, indication of the level of quality control to see how well they sharpen a knife in the factory, because it should be sharp. It's a knife. Let's get the testing medium for the old international sharp test and see how well this thing does. Okay. Look at that. Would you just look at that? We're going to give this thing an absolute A+ for the redneck sharp test. Pretty good there. I wouldn't do the paper cutting test like some people want to see, but as you can see, my notes are kind of wet. I think it'd be more a paper tearing test. So we're gonna just pass on that one today. But they have a video on their website. Actually, and it's linked. It's a YouTube video on their channel of them doing what they call destructive testing on this, which is pretty cool. They do everything you and I would do. They do batoning, they do using striping a ferro rod, they do carving, they do balance testing, although I don't consider that destructive testing. So anyway, that being said, why don't we see if we can at least get us a little bit of a fire going. I think that's the one good use for a knife like this. Every knife should be able to be an aid in making a fire. It's been raining. You saw how wet it is. We're going to see what we can do with what we got. Okay, so here's a piece of wood I picked up off the ground. It's definitely wet here. I'm going to see if we can get something dry off out of the inside, which is why I would baton typically. That horse is dead. I'm going to quit beating it. I know there's still people who think this is stupid and ridiculous, and why would you ever beat your knife up like that? But oh well. There's people who think it's stupid to carry a gun too, so there's that. Needless to say, I might disagree with both of those viewpoints. So let's see what we got here. So not bad there, and certainly they show on their website beating this thing through much bigger stuff, and I have no doubts that it'll handle it. I'm rushing a little bit trying to beat the rain, but let's just see how well this thing will carve some reasonably dry stuff. Let's just gotta carve some of those there curls. Oh, it's got a great edge on it. I mean, just great, absolutely wonderful. I'm a big fan of this high saber grind. Some companies call it a flat grind. It's not really a true flat grind, but it absolutely is a really, really good grind for all around work. For me, it's just really easy to control. I mean, look at these really nice looking curls here. I mean, would you just look at that? Just look at it. Okay, so that's pretty good there. Can't complain about that. You know where we're going next, right? It wouldn't be. It's been like a few weeks since I did an actual review, and that means about time to get any excuse to carve on a little fat wood. And this is the piece, literally, that I've had for 10 years laying out here in my own, I guess, on top of the ground storage. And this is in the video I made a long, long time ago where I harvested this, and it was about twice as big. I've been slowly whittling on it. I've been trying not to take too much off of it, but I think today we're going to take a big chunk off, so we'll have something kind of easier to work with. Let's see what happens. We're just going to beat this thing down. It's got a little exposed tang there, so you can hit it without worrying about hitting the rubber handle. Let's see how strong she is now. See if she'll do some. Let's drive it on in. See if it'll twist. Look at there. Look at how far we drove that in. So then we got a little piece of fat wood here. Let's see if we can get it out of there. And something they did on their video is test the tip strength. And so admittedly, this top of this thing is kind of maybe a little rotted, but I mean, I'm not going to try to break it. You might could break it. I don't know, but I don't like trying to break stuff. You can always break stuff. Anybody can break something. So anyway, that being said, let's carve some fat wood first. Give ourselves every opportunity for this stuff here to turn into a fire. What I also like to do is check how well it scrapes. It feels like it has a pretty sharp spine. Let's just see. By golly, not bad. Usually, sometimes when they're powder coated or epoxied or whatever this is, that kind of diminishes the scraping ability because it still provides a little bit of a cushion there, however small. But it seems to be scraping pretty good. But the true test is about to come. So I got my second favorite ferro rod right here. And this is my favorite. It has a little butane canister attached to it. We're going to start with the second favorite and say, because this one's going to get a lot more lights than this one. So that's why I really think this is cool. So let's see if we can get us a fire now. See how well this thing scrapes. And I've got some ridges on it from when I was scraping something that really wasn't very good to scrape with. But wow, there we go. Absolutely. So I got to say, so far, this DEMKO knives, Armiger knife, is rocking the house, man. It is really impressing me. For a $75 knife, it's just functioning very well. Alrighty, well, as I said, as you can see, the DEMKO Armiger 4 so far has an absolute A+ grade here in the Survival on Purpose scientific testing process. But as you know, we're all about the science here, and to that end, we maintain a state-of-the-art cutting-edge knife testing facility. And one of the industry standard knife tests we like to do on every fixed blade knife is to test the aerodynamic balance using our balance, orientation, and rotation device. I think we have to do that, right? It's like, of course we do. Let's get to it. Remember, as always, proper scientific methodology is critical. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, I'm not gonna say that was intentional, but I do always like to kind of push the limits to see how tough these things are. Because honestly, the one kind of issue I've had with some of these overmolded handles when you're testing the balance is if you hit it wrong or whatever, they're have the potential to be torn or nicked or whatever. But so far, so good. Once more. When Chuck Norris is in Rome, they do as he does. I think we're going to call this one balanced. And again, a big thank you to the folks at DEMKO Knives for sending me this so I could test it for you. And if it's you, I apologize, I don't remember, but thank you to the viewer who suggested I check out DEMKO Knives. I had seen them at Blade Show or SHOT Show, probably SHOT Show a few times, but really never, there's so many people to look at there. But I reached out to them, and literally within a week, I had this knife and a couple of others to show you in another video in my hot little hands. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with this knife. It's it passed every scientific test that we put them through here at Survival on Purpose testing facility, from the internationally standard redneck sharpness test to the again internationally standard balance test, and all between. It just did a really good job. Plus, I really like the design. I like the steel. It's really good steel. It's German 80 CRV2. There's so many German steels now. Made in Taiwan, which has a really good reputation for making great knives and doing good manufacturing. It's an American company. They've also got some knives coming out that are made in the USA with Magna Cut. That's coming out soon. Just a really comfortable, right size, medium size knife for all kinds of tasks, from wood stuff to other stuff you might need it for. I really like it. And so, at $75, I think this is a super bargain. They're not paying me. I don't have a commission from them or anything. If you buy this through my Amazon link, I might make 2% or something like that. So anyway, that's the DEMKO Knives Armiger 4. And I really appreciate you watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.